Hey everyone, this is Tyler from Team Anthem, and about this time of year we have a lot of new members joining the club, and whether you're into cycling or triathlon, it's always important to know how to change a tire. It's not that hard to do, but you do need to practice it a few times, so hopefully this video will help you. If you ever have any questions about it and you see one of us, make sure to ask. I'm going to grab Tracy's bike here real quick. It's alright, I'm going to clean it for her afterwards, so I know she won't be mad. But she's somehow come up with a flat tire, and we're going to change it for you real quick, show you how it's done. Alright, so got our bike here, flat tire. First thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the brakes by this little quick release right here on the brake itself. We're going to open up the quick release here on the tire, unscrew it a few times. Comes right off, and we can leave the bike standing just like that. When changing a tire, you always want to use your hands as much as possible. You never want to try and use too many tools. Sometimes you have to, but you don't want to pinch the tire at any time. So, first thing we're going to do is take off the tire. Now, I always carry 2 tire levers with me. Helps me take off the tire itself. I've also got 2 CO2 cartridges. These are 16-gram CO2 cartridges. Sometimes you'll see some that are a little less than 16 grams. It just means that they hold less air inside them, that's all. These particular kind are threaded on the top. I've got this little adapter. I just screw it in there all the way and then back it out slowly to inflate the tire. Sometimes you'll see some people that still do it old school with a hand pump. Nothing wrong with that. The one drawback to using these is that if you're out on the road and you run out, you run out. You don't have a pump. So, but they're light and they're small. Also carry 2 tubes with me. Now these tubes here have pretty long valves. You always want to make sure that whichever tubes you buy before you go out and buy a bunch of them, you get the correct valve length. There's about 3 lengths, a small, a medium, and a large. The large ones are about 60-65 millimeters. The medium ones are about a 45, and I think they have smaller ones that are down there around 25 or 30, something like that. You just want to make sure that based on the type of rim you have, you got one that's long enough. So these are pretty long, but that's alright, they'll work. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a tire lever. I'm going to start away from the valve, and I'm just going to pry the tire right over the rim. That's all I'm going to do. You'll notice that there's a hook on one side of these tire levers. What you can use that for is if your tire is too tight, sometimes tires just fit tight on rims. You can use that little hook and it goes right over the spoke like that and it holds it there. You can use your other tire lever just like this. Takes the tire all the way off the rim. Reach inside. Pull out your tube. This one's flat. Toss it away. Before you put the new tube in, you always want to make sure you check that whatever punctured it to begin with is not still there. So looking on the outside, and I take my fingers and I feel on the inside. Now be careful when you do that. You don't want to cut yourself with whatever punctured the tire. It could be a piece of wire. Maybe sometimes you'll just see a gash in the tire. So just check, make sure. Go all the way around. Just like that, I'm back to where I started. I'm going to get my new tube. And one thing I'm going to do before I put this tube in is, I've got a spare CO2 in my pocket. I'm going to put a little bit of air in this tube. Just inflate it just a little bit. Just like that. Good enough. Tighten this valve up real quick before I put it back in. That way, in case you bump it, you don't lose any air. Put the valve in. Take the tire. Just kind of bring it around the tube a little bit and seat the tire inside, or excuse me, seat the tube inside the tire just like this. You can lay it on the ground as well. Just like that. If you put a little too much air in it, all you got to do is undo this valve at this point. Tap it a few times. Take out a little air, not a problem. And then just reseat the tire around the rim, being careful not to puncture the tube that you just put in. Your hands are going to get dirty in the process. There's nothing you can do about it. Just try not to touch your jersey like I always do, and keep it clean. But unfortunately, you're just going to get a little dirty. Now when you get back to where you started, sometimes it's a little hard to get this tire back over the rim. If you can do it with your hands, do it with your hands. Otherwise, use your tire lever, and this time in the opposite direction, just slide the tire right back over the rim like that. What I normally do is I roll my hands back and forth on it to make sure it's not pinched anywhere, it's seated properly. Looks good. Take my CO2. All full again. Looks good. I'm gonna close that valve. Tire looks good. Quick release is closed, brake is closed. Tire works great. You're off again. Like I said, practice this a few times before you get out on the road. You know, it's always nice to have people around to help you, but you really don't want to have to ask them if you don't have to. And don't forget, a lot of times if you're going to do any racing, either cycling events or triathlon events, you're not allowed any outside assistance. You're going to have to do it on your own. So watch the video, hope it helps you. Ask questions if you need to when you see us on the road. Go practice it in your garage a few times on your wife's bike, and hope this helps. So long from Team Anthem.